podcast When Does Brahms Come In? I'm Sofia, and today we're going to have a talk about the German composer, teacher, and influential music critic, Robert Schumann. He is widely known as one of the outstanding composers of the Romantic era. Robert was born in 1810. His parents were far from music. His father was engaged in book publishing and thought that his son would follow in his footsteps. From early childhood, his father introduced his boy to literature, and he read a lot. Robert's passion for reading remained with him throughout his life. Schumann began taking piano lessons at the age of 7. 2 years later, he attended a concert by the Czech pianist Ignaz Moscheles. His playing shocked Robert to such an extent that he could not think about anything except music. In addition, he began to compose himself. After graduating from high school, he entered the University of Leipzig to study law. This was his mother's wish, and the profession didn't interest him at all. Studying seemed very boring to him. But the dreams of a musical career did not go away, despite the resistance of his parents. Friedrich Wick helped him to break them. He believed that his student had a great future ahead. Schumann himself was obsessed with becoming a concert pianist, but it all collapsed. An injury to the right hand prevented him. Robert Schumann had recovered a little from the shock and then decided to devote his life to composing music. At the time, he began to engage in journalistic activities. In 1834, he created the New Musical Newspaper, where he advocated the development of a new direction in music. Young musicians could find active support on the pages of the newspaper. The main woman of Robert Schumann's life was the daughter of Friedrich Wick, one of the best music teachers of his time, Clara. Robert took lessons from him and met her when he was 18 and she was only 8. He heard her playing and was simply impressed. She was promised to have a brilliant musical career. This was, above all, her father's dream. He helped Robert a lot, but when he found out about the feelings of his student and daughter, he turned out to be sharply opposed. The young people proved that their mutual love could withstand all obstacles, and in 1840 a significant event took place in Schumann's life, his marriage to Clara Wieck. In his works, Schumann conveyed his feelings for Clara. For example, in the piano cycle Scenes from Childhood, which was written in 1838. His creation story is reflected in Robert's letters to his beloved. He was inspired by memories of Clara telling him that he was acting like a child. Initially, 30 plays were written for the cycle, but only 13 were included. Schumann said that the works were written for adults as reminders of a happy, carefree time. Clara perceived the cycle as another musical expression of Robert's love for her. The cycle opens with a play of foreign lands and people. Robert and Clara toured a lot together, visiting many countries. It was a huge success. The composer was very offended by the fact that his wife was sometimes put into the first place. He was often called Robert, husband of Clara Schumann, and not the other way around. Robert Schumann suffered from mental disorders. It was a state of mild depression and hallucinations and bipolar disorder. In music, it was clearly reflected in the form of the subpersonalities of Eusebius and Florestan. Florestan personified energy and creativity, and Eusebius pessimism and depressive coloration of life. Answering the question when does Brahms come in? October 1st, 1853. On that day, 20-year-old Johannes knocked out on the Schumann's door. He sat down at the piano and played Robert just a couple of bars when he had interrupted him. "Wait a minute, I'll call for Clara now." Since then, Brahms often visited them to meet the lovely lady. By the way, she was 14 years older than him. Clara and Hannes, as she often affectionately called him, played music together. Their sympathy was mutual, and Robert felt out of place in his own home. In 1854, Schumann, wearing slippers and a dressing gown, slipped out of the house and ran to the bridge over the Rhine River. Having reached its middle, he threw himself into the cold water. Fishermen who were nearby saw this and managed to save the composer. Before the jump, he threw his wedding ring into the water, and in his pocket he had a note. Dear Clara, I'll throw my ring into the Rhine. Do the same. Both rings will unite there. The wife told their children that their father is mad, after which she sent him to a psychiatric clinic, where Robert Schumann died at the age of 46. Robert Schumann was composing music until his death. Clara forbade publication of the works which were written in the psychiatric clinic. Unfortunately, we'll never know what was in them, but the wife clearly had reasons for this. Brahms will come to see us again, but for now, see you soon. It was When Does Brahms Come In podcast, and sincerely yours, Sofia.